Today, I ended up going outside and basically just spending so much of my time just worrying. And I realized that happens to a lot of us. Here's the thing. Life and death is in the power of the tongue, and those who eat it shall eat the fruit thereof. When you worry, you're basically praying for the thing that you're worrying about to happen. See, I know what you're going through sucks. I know it hits that weird pit of your chest. But in reality, what you tune into, you turn into, and whatever entertains you, trains you. That thing that you're focused on is what happens. I realized while I was worrying that if I just focus on my now, if I just focus on my now and stay clear to what I want to happen, it's going to happen. I can't be afraid. I can't be afraid of something that I don't want to happen, because the only way it will happen is if I basically stay still. So sometimes when things feel real frustrating, or when things feel out of whack, things feel out of place, you just don't know how to move. You have to walk by faith. I know it's not easy to walk by faith, but it's not hard either. Walking by faith is more than just moving like nothing bad can happen. But walking by faith is having the understanding that what happens while you walk through, not worrying about what it looks like, but worrying about where you're going. Wait, no, don't worry about what it looks like. Just tread the path of where you're going. Because though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil. It's all in the scripture. The only way you can really take time in order to remember these things is to feed yourself when you don't need it. Then you push it out when you do. Because when you squeeze a lemon, what comes out? Lemon juice. When you squeeze an apple, what comes out? Apple juice. When you squeeze an orange, what comes out? Apple juice. See, what you put in is what you dish out. If you spend a bunch of time ingesting the wrong things, you end up pushing out that same thing you've been putting in. See, what I'm doing right now is that I'm actually working towards getting my CDL. And I actually do recommend this. Get yourself a trade. A trade is basically the next level in life. If you're not gonna go to college, get yourself a trade. But I'm getting myself a CDL. And the thing was that I was having a hard time retaining the knowledge. But that didn't stop me. I kept going. I kept reading it. I kept highlighting. And then when I took the little practice test, I got it wrong. I got like 3 questions wrong. 3 questions out of 10. But then I went back, took the notes, and went back to the test. And I got it 10 for 10. Now, that was just the practice test. But the only way you'll truly learn is through failure. You can't be afraid of failure. But failure doesn't mean the end. Because I was able to retake that test. Failure does not mean the end. And in the only possible way I could fail my test from God, is that if I never take it. Everything is a leap of faith. Everything. And the only way you're going to be able to test that faith is if you go out there to test it. Even though, no matter what happens while you're on that faith road, if it doesn't stop you, it can't win. But the enemy loves distraction, because if it can distract you, that's just as good, because it stops you long enough in order your purpose to take longer. And I'll leave you with this. The only way you're going to know if you can trust God is if you're in a situation where only God can do it. The only way you're going to know if God can do it is if you're in a situation where only God can do it. I was in that situation myself. I believe I'm in that situation right now. But in reality, that's all situations. At the end of the day, you don't test the chair out before you sit down. Instead of walking by fear, walk by faith. And I promise you, it's all going to be worth it at the end of that tunnel. Following God isn't easy, but it's worth it. But that's pretty much it. It's time to make you proud.